Good morning everyone, it's Lance Eastman here from Best Day Ever Mountain Biking, and I'm taking my training very seriously. It's 5:30 in the morning and we're here in Rotorua, and I've decided to change my bike to make the hill climbing a bit easier, and so this is my new weapon. It's really good at hill climbing, super light. I've got the aero bars for those tucks down cutties. It might be a little bit slippery on some of the rooty technical stages, but I think it's going to be much easier than the big heavy zeros. So going to go out and give this a session. Now I know what you're thinking, mountain bikers don't get up at 5:30 in the morning to go riding, and you'd certainly be right. We're at the Rotorua half Ironman today, and my crazy wife is the one that made me get up at 3:30 in the morning to get here. So I'm clearly not fit enough to do it, but she certainly is. Alright, she's about to head off. Well done, Jacqueline. Looking good. Well done. Well, my wife's off on her cycle on her half Ironman. There's only one thing more boring than watching a half Ironman, that's watching a full Ironman. I've done that. So I'm going to go off for a ride on my bike, and we'll catch her at the end, and we still kind of look like we're a good supporting husband even though we've not been there the entire time. Alright, I've left the Blue Lake, cycled all the way up the hill. Won't show you that because that's very laborious, and we're going to carry on up frontal lobotomy. Oh, still climbing. I reckon once this EWS is over, that's it. E-bike racing for me. I could probably get on the podium with e-bikes. There's only 2 in the last race. Might sneak on in 3rd. I made it up to the top of Tuhoto Ariki, climbed all the way up here, about 6 k's climbing. My legs are feeling it a little bit, but sense of satisfaction in not having to take the bus. I haven't cycled up that hill for a very long time. Just putting the helmet together. Need to go from an open face to a full face because the next bit's going to get a bit technical as it's rained all overnight and we're up in the natives here. And when you're a YouTube sensation like me, you need to look after these good looks. So I'm going to go for a full face, and we'll take you on Tuhoto Ariki. Now, I haven't shown you the start of Ariki. Here's a turn off to Katori, because I actually did show that in my video of Katori. So if you want to see that, or you want to see doing Katori or cutties, you go back a couple of videos and it's worth a look. But this is into Tuhoto Ariki. It is super wet today. It had a massive amount of rain overnight, so quite a different riding experience from the other video I did on the other day when it was bone dry. Now I know what you're saying, do cutties for us in the rain, but I'm going to be sensible because I think I'm going to probably a bit much to ride it today in the wet. I'm going to say it's because I want to preserve the trails, but I think it's just because I'm too scared. But anyway, Tuhoto Ariki's good trail to do when you're trying to do a bit of training. And this bit here you come out to is called the Alien Landing, and sometimes they'll have even race stages, just that first bit they'll end out here. Kind of interesting because it's got technical downhill and a little bit of technical uphill. Lots of sort of interesting route sections that today you can skin your skating. Very beautiful in here though. So I've actually done quite a lot of work over here over the years, putting in bridges, and although it may seem as a bit of a cop-out for a native trail, it really does help just getting past some of those really boggy bits, especially when it's wet, and maintaining the trail. So I'm all in favour of them. Sticky bit. Kind of fun though. Technical little section here. Over the roots. Some more roots here. And we're up and round. Good one. Especially with the putting a lot of these bridges in, even though it's really wet, it's actually become quite an all-weather track now. Used to would never really ride this if it was wet because it's just big holes with puddles, but there are some muddy puddles, but the big ones have been sort of bypassed, like again, you know, these bridge sections here just make it a little bit more flowy and easier. So yeah, an awesome track to do. I really am pleased we did it today. Oh, okay, that looks like a challenge, doesn't it? Okay, here's a slight challenge. Technical rooty uphill section, going through a sort of boggy hole as the approach, so hard to maintain speed, and a branch you have to duck under. All right, well, we'll see if we can make all those ducks in a row. All right, so we'll get a bit of a run in, eh? No, attempt number one, no good. Okay, nearly there though. All right, more gusto for attempt number two. In the dry, this would be a nothing, but you got a puddle and rooty section. Woo! Yes, only just, but we're there. We'll take it. For those of you who've never done Haru, this is where it comes off Tuhoto Ariki. It's actually one of my favourite all-time trails is Haru, but it doesn't fit in with where I want to go today, so we're going to carry on and finish the rest of Tuhoto Ariki. Yeah, good fun stuff. Whoa. Got wet there. I have also done Haru walking back up this way in reverse direction. Sometimes that can be another option, especially if you don't want to cycle Tuhoto Ariki to get there, but whoa. So what happens when you put the seat up because you think you're cruising, suddenly you get a techie bit. And quite different, just suddenly changes. You're now into pine trees. It's completely different once you get out of the native and into pines. The ground, everything seems to just change. Well, that was Tuhoto Ariki. I really enjoyed that. Really wet, but actually rolled surprisingly well, and miracle for me, I stayed on my bike, so that makes a change. I'm going to take a left-hand turn and head up and do Kung Fu, which was actually used in the October Enduro, and then we'll probably loop round back to the Blue Lake and see how my wife's getting on. If you're coming out to do Kung Fu Walrus and you've never been here before, I recommend coming to the Lookout. It's just on the right on the way out when you're cycling out to Kung Fu, and it has an amazing view. You can sit up here and just look out at that beautiful lake. You can't swim in it, but you can certainly look at it. Lovely place to bring the girlfriend, have a picnic, very romantic. I'm just finishing off Kung Fu. You may say, why didn't you show it? Well, I did a good race run in my October Enduro race, so if you want to see Kung Fu, go back and see that one. But, well, the other thing is I'm running out of battery, but we'll got to head back to the lake and see how my wife's doing. Oh, look who I bumped into having a drink. So 1 lap to go?
Yeah, 1.5.
1.5 laps to go.
Yeah.
So about another 20 minutes?
Yeah, 15 maybe.
Have fun. All right. Just met Jacqueline there doing a 1 lap to go, or 1.5 laps to go, and we're going to go back to the lake via this track, which is Tangaroa Mihi. I think I've got that right. That's a big mouthful. So I guess here's the challenge. Can I cycle back to the Blue Lake before my wife runs there? Now, you would think that was a given, wouldn't you? But you don't know my wife, and you don't know how bad a rider I am. So let's see. We should be able to do it. This is a purpose-built track. They've just made it. Used to be this walking track, which is one the runners are on. but then they put in this purpose-made mountain bike track, and it's quite cool actually. Good one for the kids. Now you're thinking, how can my wife possibly beat me riding at this speed? But I think she's getting a more direct route than me. My one's a lot windier. I should still get there before her anyway. Alright, and we come out at the lake. There we go. How you doing? One to go, or none to go. You're on the way home now. How you feeling? You alright? Good. See you at the end. There you go, you're all done. Now whenever I do a mountain bike race, this is usually what I win, is a bottle of beer. But my wife gets a bottle and a medal. How about that? In fact, I told you, pretty much every time she leaves the house, she comes back with a medal. And she might even share the beer with me if I'm lucky.
Look at the times, man.
Happy with that? Well, it's a different day for best day ever mountain biking, but did a bit of riding and a bit of Ironman, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. And I'm not doing an Ironman, but you never know, you might see me at the EWS if we get this training done right.